Hey everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Tuesday, January 7th, 2020. All right, so today we have some sextiles with Neptune, the Sun and Mercury. So maybe some easygoingness available here today. Great for receptive things like maybe spirituality, creativity, imagination, anything that does help us connect to the ethers of life. Now the moon is well set in Taurus today, so the theme is likely around resourcefulness. Good day of cultivating our inner resources like self-worth, self-value, but also external resources as well. Good to relax into the comforts of life or nature or the material realms. So that's the most important stuff going on today, but this week is a very important week. We're approaching a lunar eclipse, which will be on Friday. So we are building some momentum as we do approach that, and it is good to maybe have some wind in our sails and maybe gain some insight as we approach the later part of the week. So let's take a look at all of this as well as a quick weekly recap here in more detail when I return. All right, so here's the sky for this Tuesday. And again, we are using the actual size of the constellations called true Sidereal Astrology. This is different from mainstream astrology, which uses an even 30 degrees for each of the constellations. And so it does change the signs. If you are new to the channel, definitely check out that link down below for more information. All right, so the theme of the day, which is represented by the moon, we have the moon in Taurus, which we started to likely feel yesterday, of this more grounding energy. This part of the lunar month is really good for cultivating our resourcefulness, both inwardly, like that self-worth, self-value, also our self-reliance, and even our natural gifts, natural talents, natural abilities, really good to cultivate during this time. But also our external resources, really good for connecting to nature or connecting to our senses, the comforts of life, really good as well to really be grateful and enjoy what we do have on the external level when it does come to material resources. So that's the theme of the day, and the larger context is that of this eclipse cycle that we're currently in. We had that solar eclipse almost 2 weeks ago, and so we are starting to come up to the halfway point of that with the lunar eclipse, which will be on Friday. So with this context, it's great to be continuing to expand our horizons about what's possible in life. There is this free-spirited energy of Sagittarius that's really good to cultivate at this time, whether it's expanding our own horizons, like through, adventurous things or getting into that more free-spirited energy. Also really good for the abstract realms, things like spirituality, philosophy, higher knowledge, higher wisdom, really good to cultivate that side of ourself as well. Now, with that being said, we still do have Jupiter very close to the south node. That's going to be a conjunction all week long. And in this context, there might be some past things coming up regarding our beliefs or perspectives. So good to be non-attached and just see what does arise because there's probably some releasing, some past beliefs, past perspectives, past inspirations that are drawing out with this. And from this, there will be a new beginning. So good to be non-attached to this more spirited and fiery energy since Jupiter is over that south node. And once we do approach that lunar eclipse, which will be on Friday, it will be the heightened part of this cycle. And in this case, it will be important to balance that free-spiritedness of Sagittarius with the practical aspects of life, which is Gemini. All right, so in terms of the aspects, we just have a couple minor aspects here today. The Sun is sextiling Neptune, and Mercury will be sextiling Neptune going into tomorrow. And so in this case, nothing major, but just an opening. And this could be good for maybe creative imagination, maybe some spiritual or dreamy energy, imaginative energy, getting some alone time, rest, spiritual time, just a bit of an opening for that more etheric approach to life. So we're not forced into it with sextiles, they're just openings, but it is a great way of working with the day-to-day, especially if there's anything you're focused on that watery level. And even going into tomorrow, anything that involves learning, reading, writing, communication will likely also be quite receptive and also good to cultivate in that more etheric, imaginative, creative way with the mind and communications. All right, so let's do a quick weekly recap. So all these planets are in Sagittarius at the moment, which is again that larger context with that free-spiritedness. great to develop in the lunar cycle. But in this case, we do have Venus finishing up Capricorn. We're likely valuing, especially in our relationships right now, maybe a more grounded kind of energy, maybe valuing patience, discipline, responsibility, commitment, things like this. So that's really good to cultivate in our one-on-one life, but really just to enjoy. And with the moon in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, we could say that a lot of this grounding energy right now might be about maybe feeling quite responsible or disciplined during this part of the lunar month as well. Now, Mars has recently shifted into deep Scorpio, so very good for uncovering hidden truths, depth, trust, and intimacy, if you do want to channel it in that way. But a very good, powerful energy when it does come to the deeper dimensions of life. We're likely taking action in this way that is willing to get to the bottom of things, is candid, is direct, is about the truth. And so continuing to express that side of ourselves or take action in that way, really good with Mars here in dignity in deep Scorpio. All right, everyone. So that is the weekly recap. That's where there's a lot of concentration of energy. But today, most important thing is approaching this halfway point of the lunar month, which is an eclipse month. And today, to do that, cultivating our resourcefulness. How can we further develop the stable side of ourselves, connect to our inner nature, inner resources, as well as our outer nature and outer resources is a great way of working with this time period. All right, so everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the daily forecast. Take care.